Imagine a single nation, one empire, one flag, one emperor. Now imagine that inside it live 4 kings, 6 grand dukes, 5 dukes, and dozens of lesser princes, each one still wearing his own crown, each one still ruling his own land. This was Imperial Germany, and here is the strange truth at the heart of it. It was never quite one country. It was many countries, bound together tightly, but never dissolved into one another. To understand how that worked, we have to start with how it was born. For centuries, the German-speaking lands were not a nation at all. They were a mosaic. Hundreds of kingdoms, duchies, church lands, and free cities scattered across the map like broken glass. Through war and diplomacy, one state rose above the rest, the Kingdom of Prussia. And in 1871, after victory over France, the Prussian king and his Iron Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, forged something new. The German Empire. 25 states joined together, and one imperial territory besides. 4 of them were kingdoms, 6 were grand duchies, 5 were duchies, 7 were principalities, and 3 were free cities, ruled by no prince at all. At the center sat Prussia, so vast it held roughly 2/3 of the empire's land and people. Its king would wear the imperial crown. But watch the title he took. Not Emperor of Germany, for that would make him the owner of the others, a master over their lands. He was only German Emperor, first among the crowned heads, their leader, but not their lord. That single word was a promise. Your crowns are safe, and it shaped everything that followed. First, Prussia itself, the giant. Its king was the emperor. Its minister-president was almost always the empire's chancellor. Its capital, Berlin, was the empire's capital. When Prussia moved, the empire moved with it, and everyone knew it. Then Bavaria, proud, Catholic, and stubbornly independent. Of all the states, Bavaria drove the hardest bargain. It kept its own army in peacetime under its own command, its own postal service, printing its own stamps, its own railways, even its own diplomats, sending envoys abroad as if it were a nation in its own right. Historians call these its reserved rights, special privileges that no other state could claim. Bavaria joined the empire, but it never quite let go of being Bavaria. Saxony, small on the map, but an industrial powerhouse, its valleys humming with factories, printing presses, and workshops. It too kept its own royal army, marching under its own white and green banner within the imperial whole. And Württemberg, in the fertile southwest, the 4th crown. Like Bavaria, it held on to its own postal system and its own soldiers, guarding its independence to the end. 4 kings, 4 armies, 1 empire. In peacetime, these kingdoms commanded their own troops, swore their own oaths, flew their own colors. Only in war did they all fall under the emperor's supreme command, their armies binding into one through careful military conventions signed between each kingdom and the crown. Peace divided them. War united them. Below the kingdoms came a whole constellation of smaller states, and every single one of them was real. The Grand Duchies, Baden, prosperous along the Rhine, Hesse, the 2 Mecklenburgs of the northern plains, Oldenburg, Saxe-Weimar-Eisenach, land of poets, each ruled by a Grand Duke in his own right, in his own residence. The duchies, Anhalt, Brunswick, and the little Saxon duchies scattered through the green hills of Thuringia, each a fragment of an ancient royal house. And then the principalities, some almost impossibly small. Reuss, whose princes famously named nearly every son Heinrich. Lippe, Schaumburg-Lippe, Waldeck, the two Schwarzburgs. Territories you could ride across in a single afternoon, ruled by princes whose bloodlines stretched back 1,000 years. And 3 cities that bowed to no prince at all, the free Hanseatic cities of Hamburg, Bremen, and Lübeck. Merchant republics, governing themselves through councils of citizens as they had for centuries of trade across the seas. Here is what truly mattered. Every one of them had a seat. Every one of them had a vote. Even a principality of a few thousand souls sent its voice to the empire's council, to sit beside mighty Prussia. They were small, but in the eyes of the Constitution, they were sovereign. So, how did 25 crowns manage to share a single empire without tearing it apart? Through the Bundesrat, the Federal Council. This was the true heart of the empire, not a parliament of the people, but a council of the states themselves. Each government sent delegates. Each state held a block of votes weighted to its size. Prussia held the largest block by far, enough on its own to veto any change to the constitution it feared. The other crowns balanced carefully around it. Above the council stood the emperor, and beneath the emperor his chancellor, answerable to the emperor alone, not to the voters. And there was one more voice, the Reichstag, a parliament elected by the people, sharing power over laws and budgets. But the crowns, the kings, the dukes, the princes, the free cities, kept their true grip through the Federal Council. 2 chambers of power, one of the people and one of the princes. Only one piece refused to fit the pattern. Alsace-Lorraine, taken from France in 1871, was no kingdom, no duchy, no free city. It was an imperial territory, governed directly from Berlin, with no crown and no prince of its own. The empire's great exception, the land that belonged to all the states together, and to none of them. For 47 years, the crowns held, through booms and crises, through the building of railways and battleships, through the long peace and the gathering storm. The strange machine of many crowns kept turning. Then came the autumn of 1918. A world war lost, a people hungry, grieving, and exhausted beyond endurance. And in a matter of weeks, the empire that had stood for a generation simply came apart. Wilhelm II abdicated and fled, and he did not fall alone. Within days, every reigning monarch in Germany was swept from his throne. All 4 kings, every Grand Duke, every prince. Crown after crown after crown, gone. Dynasties that had ruled since the Middle Ages ended almost overnight, without a shot fired to save them. The reserved rights of Bavaria, the armies of Saxony and Württemberg, the ancient councils of the free cities, all of it gone in a single revolutionary autumn. In their place rose a republic, the Weimar Republic, and so the crowns within the crown were finally dissolved. Not into each other, as the princes had always feared, but into the hands of the people they had ruled. An empire of many crowns, 4 kings beneath one emperor, 25 states that stayed themselves, even as they became something greater, held together for a single lifetime, and then, all at once, let go.